Hi guys, so I thought I'd just do a little video about roasted maple guitar necks because more and more guitar brands are using roasted maple for their necks. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a video kind of talking about the differences between roasted maple and like plain maple, and you know, also talk about what might be the reason that, you know, we're seeing more and more roasted maple necks on the market. So to start with, obviously the first difference between roasted maple and plain maple is the colour. So I've got 3 guitars here, all with roasted maple necks. In fact, I've got as well, actually, let me grab, try and reach. So I also have another one here with plain maple. So here's my Ibanez RG with a plain maple neck, and then obviously here we've got the Harley Benton Fusion T, which has a roasted flame maple neck. Let me pop this one back. So obviously, I mean, the colour difference there is obvious. Just put the Ibanez down again. There we go. And then here we've got the Harley Benton TE62, which is also roasted maple, albeit a bit lighter than the Fusion T. And then on my right we've got the EastCoast Deluxe Telecaster, which is a bit darker than the Harley Benton TE62, but still not as dark as the Fusion T. So we're going to talk a little bit about why that might be the difference in colour between these 3 in a moment. But in general, the roasted maple is just a lot darker than plain maple. Feel wise, roasted maple necks tend to be unfinished, or if they are, they're finished with a very light, what would it be, like kind of like a, what would it be? It's not like a lacquer, like a stain, or not a stain, what is it? Some type of wax or oil. That's it, oil, that's what I'm looking for. So they don't have like a lacquer finish, so they feel a lot smoother and like less sticky than like a lacquered maple neck. That's not to say that all maple necks are lacquered, because they're not. My Ibanez one isn't lacquered, but in general, if you was like talking like a Fender, for example, you know, a Fender Strat or Telecaster with a maple neck is usually lacquered, so that contributes to the difference in feel. But in general, if you was to compare like a plain maple neck that's unfinished, you know, like without lacquer, to a roasted maple neck that is also unfinished, then you know there's not much of a feel difference there, I don't think. Tone wise, now this is a bit of a, probably could be controversial, but in general, if people say they can hear a difference, the general consensus seems to be that roasted maple sounds a little brighter, whereas plain maple is a bit rounder sounding. Personally, I can't hear that difference, and I think that there's a million other factors that will, you know, contribute to a difference in tone more than, you know, whether it's plain maple or roasted maple. So, you know, really to tell the difference, you'd have to have like the exact same guitar with the same pickups and everything, and then only change the neck to really be able to see if there's any discernible difference. But yeah, I don't know. So those are the main differences anyway. So that brings me on to like why why would you want roasted maple over plain maple? And also, why are guitar builders using roasted maple over flame maple? So up until recently, as far as I'm aware and from what I've seen, roasted maple has really only been available on towards the higher end of the guitar spectrum. You see it on some more higher end Ibanez or Sir, or these kind of custom brands, whereas you wouldn't really see it on lower end guitars. But in recent years we've been seeing a lot more lower end guitars using roasted maple. So roasted maple is supposedly a lot more stable than plain maple. Something to do with them roasting it means there's less moisture, so it's a more stable wood. So I think this is a theory that I have, that I've seen a few other people online share this theory as well, that it's cheaper for a guitar maker or brand to roast, to use roasted maple, and the roasting process is cheaper than it is to get a piece of good quality plain maple. So it means these, Harley Benton can use maple that otherwise wouldn't have been suitable, but by roasting it, it means that it's now suitable to use on their guitar necks. That's the only thing that I can think of as a good reason why these brands would be using roasted maple, because obviously they're super, this TE62 is £120 I think, or £130. So there's not a lot of room there for them to be turning a profit, so they're not going to be using roasted maple unless there's some kind of benefit cost wise. So I feel like that's got to be the reason that these cheaper brands are using roasted maple. So what benefit is there to the guitar player in terms of going for a roasted maple neck over a plain maple neck? I think really, in my opinion, it's an aesthetic thing. The kind of the spiel is that roasted maple is more stable, but really, if you're buying a guitar at whatever price range, say you're buying a £400 guitar, and you've got the choice between plain maple or roasted maple, you'd think that really the plain maple should be stable anyway. So I think some of it is a bit of a kind of marketing kind of spin, but I do also love the look of roasted maple as well, especially this one with the flame roasted maple. I think looks really good. But yeah, I think that's about it really. I suppose you could say, if you think you can hear a difference between roasted maple and maple, then if you want that slightly brighter sound, then I suppose you could go roasted maple. So I suppose, yeah, and if you buy into that kind of marketing thing of that roasted is more stable, then I suppose you would choose roasted maple over plain maple as well. But yeah, in my opinion, it's an aesthetic thing. It's a looks thing, which is fair enough. I would probably choose roasted maple most of the time over plain maple, just because I like how it looks. Depending on the guitar, obviously. I probably wouldn't go roasted maple on really classic looking guitar, I don't think. But who knows? Definitely not on like a Les Paul. I wouldn't go for like roasted maple on a Les Paul or something like that. I think it works better on like the kind of super strats or Telecasters and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm just rambling now anyway, so that's about it really anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, feel free to like and subscribe, and feel free to check out some of my other videos as well. But yeah, hopefully see you in the next one.